All right. So, since people are joining from different time zones across the globe, a very good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all of you. My name is Sangeeta. I'm the Customer Success Manager with EON Reality, and today I'll be hosting this webinar from Bangalore, India. So as a customer success manager, I primarily take care of the learning enablement and training solutions for our customers in India as well as in APJ. And I also work with a team of learning designers who basically make sure that the content that you see in XR platform are all quality checked and are really excellent in quality. So I hope everyone is doing well and keeping safe. And warm welcome once again to all of you to this short webinar. I request everyone to mute yourself during the time of the presentation. We'll try to keep it brief, about 25 to 30 minutes of presentation. And then after that, we'll shortly open for a quick Q&A where you can ask your questions. And meanwhile, during the presentation as well, if you feel you have something relevant, you can always post it in the chat window. So on your screen, you would see there are those three white dots on a red background. So you can expand that menu if you don't find the chat box. You can also raise your hand to speak up. But as I said, I'll be parking all the questions for the end of the presentation. Okay. Now, before we directly dig into the technical part of lead admin, I would like to start by basically highlighting what exactly we mean by lead admin in EON-XR. So lead admin is nothing but a role, one of the most important roles within EON-XR platform. So I'm assuming that most of you who are joining us today are already a member of EON-XR platform. You are using desktop or the mobile or maybe even both, and you have been creating your content. So lead admin is such a role who is nothing but an institutional representative and who has the utmost privileges within a certain institute and can actually define and manage different rules and regulations and parameters within the EON-XR platform, both for the institute as well as for individual users. So if you already have an institute by yourself from EON-XR, you would already have a lead admin as well. So as of now, with version 9.0, the lead admin role is a single person. And this is a right which is transferable. So later on, if you decide to change the lead admin ownership, you can always change it with other members of your institute. And what you can actually do using the lead admin privileges of your institute is actually a lot of things. You can, to start with, you can add your users. So once the institute is created, next thing you do is add your members of the organization into the XR institute, right? So you can add new users, you can delete the existing users, or you can modify their rights within the institution. In terms of groups, so basically, once the institute is created, one of the first set of tasks that you must undertake is create different groups, right? Groups which are relevant to your organization, to your domain. So let's say if you are an engineering college, you can think of domains like automobile or industrial engineering. Or if you are an organization who has semester programs, you can define it as first semester, second semester, and all. So I'll come to that later on, and I'll explain it in detail, like how you can basically define the groups and how you can make the most of the use of that groups, right? But as of now, just to give a broad idea, groups are something which will categorize your institute members, and you can put them into one bucket or multiple buckets altogether. Moving on to roles. So roles are one of the most important features within the lead admin privileges. So the first thing, once the institute is created for a lead admin, is to create certain roles that will define and assign the task that that person can undertake. So today we'll be predominantly talking about roles like lead admin, admin, and teacher and student. Right. Moving on to marketplace. Marketplace is another key offering from your EON-XR institute. And as a lead admin, you can manage credits to the user of your institute, whether it's assigning credits, allocating credits to your new users, or basically withdrawing the credits from some of the existing users. Next thing that the lead admin can do is basically manage the reports. So what you can do for your report management, you can basically manage your product licenses. So by product license, I mean EON-XR offers learning in 3 different ways, right? So we have our learn, train, and perform 3 approaches through Creator AVR, Virtual Trainer, and AR Assist. And using your report segment within the lead admin portfolio, you can see how many of the licenses are used. And additionally, you can also get the audit reports. So when it comes to knowing the usage of your institutional functionalities, let's say how many assets are created or how many lessons are created, or like who has done maximum amount of login, or who has been using marketplace credit, what exactly has been, how the marketplace credit has been utilized. So all this data you can fetch from your report segment. Last but not the least, there is a setting of lead admin using which you can basically moderate the user interface for both your web as well as your mobile interface. All right. So this is, I think, enough of an introduction and of what a lead admin can do. And now I would like to take you directly to the platform and show you how you can avail all these features and basically manage your own institution. All right. So I hope my screen is still visible. Yeah. So this is a dummy institute that I'll be sharing with you, and we'll be taking you through the admin portfolio. This is version 9.1, and all the paid users are already using this institute to create both 3D 360 lessons, I'm sure. So how you can access your admin portfolio is by coming here to this profile menu. So come to the profile menu, and in the drop down, you would find the admin. Right here in this particular institute, I'm the lead admin, so I'd be able to access all the 6 functionalities that I was just talking about. So let's go through one by one. Okay, first starting with users. Okay, rather I would start with roles. So for you, if you're a lead admin of your paid EON-XR institute, my recommendation will be always start with the roles. So first you must define the roles of your institute. And when you start doing so, you would notice that there are 3 predefined roles, excluding the lead admin, which is already pre-decided by the XR license team. Once you want to create roles within your organization, you would notice that there is a student, there is a teacher, and there is an admin role which is available. Right. So I would like to highlight a little more on to differentiate these 3 roles. Admin basically has rights to essentially do almost everything. They can manage the assets, they can manage the content. By content, I mean the lessons that you create using your assets. They can manage the people, which is nothing but the user and group management, as well as managing the roles. And they can also do things like fetching report or managing the marketplace. All right. Now going back to teacher, teacher is someone who can have like little less privilege than admin. So they should be able to create their own lesson. They should be able to publish and also assign a lesson to a student. When it comes to students, they are kind of viewers. So they have only viewing rights. So when a lesson is created and published, they can, and when they're assigned to a student, they will be able to essentially see the lesson and do it in a self-learning mode. So play the lesson in a self-learning mode. But again, these are just names and privileges. So how you can manage these privileges for your institute? I think we can do a little hands-on activity here. I'll just show you how to create a new role and basically manage your role through any of the predefined structures. So let's create a new role. I'll just call it guest 1. All right, so I can define the role based on my requirement, and I can define the role based on a certain privilege. So let's say for the guest 1, I want to give admin rights. So I'll just select the role and simply add, right? And similarly, I would create another role, which is guest 2. And here I want to give a teacher privilege. All right. So I have created these 2 roles. Now, after my roles are created, I would come to this segment called EON-XR permission, and I would define my permissions accordingly. So here I can either check or uncheck. I can do because I am the lead admin. If you are just an admin, you might not be able to do so. All right, so you can check all or uncheck all based on the requirement of your particular role. All right, so that's the first thing. You finish creating roles once the institution is ready. Okay. Next thing I would request you to do as a lead admin is define the groups. Right. So groups, why the groups are important. I'll come to that in a short while, but for getting started, I think let us create some groups hands-on. So I'll create again a group called a webinar one. This is just a dummy group that I'm creating, right? So here you can see my group is already created. Now I can simply add members to this group, and assuming I have my users already added to the institution, I can start adding them within the particular group. All right, now let me take you slightly back to the user segment. Okay, so as you can see, there are already some existing users within this institution, but now how I add new users. I can do it two ways. I can either decide to add a single user, or if I have, let's say, 1,000 plus licenses or 5,000 plus licenses, I wouldn't be doing it one by one. So let's take a look at both. How I add a single user is I click on this add user panel, and I simply, I have just kept a random email address for demonstration. So I'll just type in the email address. I'll define the first name and last name. Right, I can define the password, or I can just let it keep it open for the user to define. I can decide the expiry date. So if you are a paid member of the institute, mostly it will sync with your expiry date of the XR license. But if you are adding someone for whom you need just a 2-month license, or let's say a week's license, you can define your expiry date accordingly. Now once those things are defined, I'll just pick something randomly. Okay, next thing you decide is the role. So see here, I have created two roles, guest one, guest two, right? So here you can decide which role you want to give this person. And also the groups, I have created this webinar one group. So I'm adding this person to the webinar one group. And here you can as much create as many roles and as many groups that you necessarily need. All right. Now, next important thing after adding a user is giving them necessary licenses. So I'm giving him one creator AVR license. You can see that this particular institute doesn't have any licenses for AR Assist or virtual trainer. So I have none. So I can only allow them creator AVR licenses. Once that is done, I simply add, and an activation mail should be sent to the mail ID that I have just used, right? This one, the John Doe. All right, what else I can do here? So I can add multiple users. How do I do that? I'll simply click here, and once you come here, it will give you a template. So just simply download the template. All right, it's a pre-designed template to suit your requirements. So basically feed in the data that your institute members already has. So you would feed in the first name, the last name, email address, the role, right? Whether it's a teacher or a student or an admin role. You would define the group. Again, just to reiterate, group is not a mandatory feature, but is a very useful one when it comes to creating your lessons and assigning it to a big number of people in one go. Also define the expiration date, and also define the licenses that you are assigning to this particular user. And just as a tool tip, you can take a look at this. So the accepted format. So once you are done with once you are done with filling up this form, all you have to do is basically import the same. So you can drag and drop your filled in Excel file and upload the same. So only the same file which is downloaded from here will be accepted for upload, right? Roles, what exactly you have defined. So right now I have added this guest 1, 2, and additionally we had two teacher, student, and admin as default. So only the valid roles will be accepted in your CSV file. Similarly for groups, if you have already created groups, the same will be taken, or if the group does not exist, the group will be automatically created and user will be added to it. And coming to the licenses, it's basically a binary system. So if you are giving the user a license for creator AVR, simply add 1. And for AR assist, if you are not giving a license, just add 2. Add 0. So it's a binary system. It's either 1 or 0. All right. So once I have finished my data sheet, I would simply upload it here and my user database will be ready to use. Okay. Few more things. What I can do from the user segment, I can come to the action column, right? And here I can simply delete the user. So if the user is no more a part of your institution, you can straight away delete the user. Or let's say if the user has missed the activation mail, like earlier I have sent a mail to John Doe, and assuming that that person has not received the activation mail, you can send a further notification, like another reminder as the activation mail. And you can also balance the licenses. So if you wish to moderate the licenses which is already given, you can do that as well. All right. Now moving on to the groups. Okay. So here you can see there is a group called miscellaneous, and either you can simply come to the group and see what are the members within that specific group, or you can just import the CSV file by clicking here, just to get a snapshot of the members and their rights and privileges. All right, moving on to roles again. Okay, so this is one of the key segments that I want to highlight for all the lead admins who are present here. So let us pick the admin role. Okay, and for talking about this segment, so this is all about the EON-XR permissions that this specific role has. All right, so you can see there are different buckets, like there is one for creator app permission, one for asset management, one for content management, and all that. Right. So for this, I would like to take you to a different institute and basically give you a hands-on, experience of how things work. Okay. So all of you must be familiar with XR library, which is our default freemium institute and our showcase platform. So when we start with creator app permission, here you can see that there are two rights. One for starting your own multi-user session and one for starting any multi-user session. So if I pick a lesson randomly from the XR library, you can see that I'm not the author, right? Someone else is. But if I have the rights for both starting multi-user session for my own lesson as well as for others, I'll be able to simply start a meeting irrespective of whoever is the author. Right. So define your virtual meeting rights accordingly for the first bucket. Moving on to the next segment, asset management. So again, let us go to the XR library and go to the My Workspace. Right here, you can see that. So let me come to the asset segment. Right. So since I'm the lead admin, I can basically do a lot of things. I can not only see my own assets, but I can see the assets which are created and published by my colleagues within the same institute. I can see lessons across all different categories. I can filter them through published and unpublished segments. So in library means the ones which are already published, this clear clouds, and not in library are the ones that come with this strike through and basically are still not published in the library. So as a lead admin, I can additionally come here and even if it is not my own asset, I'm not the author, but I can still come here and publish, right? So these are the set of privileges that you can manage by adjusting the permissions and privileges within the asset management segment. Same way, moving on to the content management segment. If I come to the lesson within my workspace, and same drill, basically, you can see your own lessons or lessons, sorry, created by everyone, and see across published and unpublished categories, and basically be able to publish any lesson that is right now not published. So all these rights and privileges can be assigned and defined using the content management segment. Moving on to the people management segment. So this predominantly talks about the three: how you handle your users, how you add, delete, modify, change XR permissions of an user, how you put them in different groups, how you assign them different roles, and over a period of time you wish to change the roles or change the groups. So basically moderate the existing privileges. All those functionalities fall under your people management segment, right? Whether they can export the CSV data, whether they can edit, delete, add users from groups, etc., etc. So for entire people management, through these three tabs, use your people management bucket. Okay. Next thing is our admin portfolio management. So in order to access this whole of admin page, right, this tab, so if they don't have admin rights, they won't be basically having any of this ticked. So within the admin portfolio page, you can create new institutes, sorry, you can create new roles, new groups, you can modify your institute information, and you can do certain other things like modifying your levels and categories and so on. All right. For AR Assist and Virtual Trainer, which are our two different products for train and perform, we have separate modules. So I'm not going to elaborate much on this too. And as a matter of fact, we have separate webinars which has happened in the past. So I'm just parking that as of now. Report management and marketplace management are another two important categories that we'll be discussing shortly in the next two tabs. All right. Moving on to the report segment, right? In report segment, you have two things. One is the product license information. So here you can see that if I have license for all the three products, I would see that how many are used and how many are still available to be used. So here for AR Assist, if I have 64 still available, I can add 64 people or 64 licenses, or maybe distribute the 64 within the existing people. Next thing is an audit report that you can manage from your for your institute, right? So this is pretty much like getting your bank statement or any audit report per se. So you just define a start date, right, and define an end date, and you define the event type, like whether you want to look at the admin activities or lesson creation activities or just the login activities, like how many people and when they have logged in, etc. You can define, and you can as well define the event name, like whether it's just launching the platform or creating a lesson or deletion of a lesson and so on. And based on your selection on the first part of this page, you will be getting a data. And again, don't rely on the XR data. You can always export the CSV file and keep a backup for your future use. And you can do it on a monthly or weekly or quarterly basis based on your organizational requirement. All right, moving on to the settings. So under settings, you can do quite a few things. First, we'll start with configuration. And to explain, there are about 5-6 features that you can manage through the configuration setting. So for that, I would like to again take you back to my slides and give you a comparative idea how this configuration setting basically works. Right. One thing you can do is enable lesson grade. So when you enable the lesson grade, you basically have this additional drop-down menu. And once you select that, you can see different grades across both 3D and 360 lesson. And again, this is a customizable structure. Your grades need not be like a numerical grade 1, 2, 3. It can be your semester 1, 2, 3, or it can be your, let's say, your foundation, expert, premium, master, whatever kind of grade you are looking at based on your domain expertise. So this, the left side image represents how it looks like in a lesson grade enabled UI, and this is how it looks when it's a disabled mode. Okay. Second type of configuration that you can set up for your institute is enable exhibition mode. So this is specific for your EON-XR app only. So within the EON-XR app, if you have already enabled the exhibition mode as a backend lead admin functionality, it will appear like this, right? It displays both the categories as well as lessons. So here you can see that this K-12 secondary education and higher education, they are the category names, and the lessons are as well appearing together on the home screen. But if I have disabled this exhibition mode, I would see just the categories, right? And not the lessons in the first view. Similarly, if you enable the enable CAVR view asset, This is another functionality within your lead admin portfolio. So if that is activated, you would see that on the left hand side burger menu within your EON-XR app, the view 3D asset option is appearing. If it is disabled, you won't find it there. So it's just a single click toggle button to enable and disable this functionality. Moving on, enable parent category view. So this is specifically for the web portal. And if you have already enabled this, you would see that your categories are appearing in a two-level hierarchy or two-step fashion. So here, since it is activated, I'm seeing both the parent and the child. So in this case, higher education is a parent category, and within higher education, I have this architecture, astronomy, automobile, electronics, etc., etc. So you can decide to enable it or disable it at the same time. All right. Yeah, that's pretty much. Again, going back to our platform. All right. Okay, after configuration, next thing we have is LTI. So EON-XR platform allows you to basically integrate all your XR lessons with your existing LMS. And again, I'm not going to highlight much here for the interest of time. So just in a nutshell, if your organization is already using an LMS, our XR lessons will be able to integrate themselves with the existing platform, existing LMS of yours. Okay, now we'll quickly take a look at the last few. One is the category management, right? So I was talking about the categories, and basically, I'm sure you all have experienced what I mean by category through the XR platform or even through your own institute. So these are the parent categories that we are looking at within XR: K-12 secondary, higher education, TVET, etc., etc. So how do we manage that, right? So in terms of parent category, okay, let me. All right, so we are here. As you can see, we are back to the Dummy Institute, and I'll be showing you how to manage your categories now. So as you can see here, we don't have the parent category showing up, right? It's only the lesson category. That's like a second level hierarchy, or the child category per the name say. So how do I activate this? I go back to the configuration, right? And here I would enable the parent category view. All right. Again, let's come back to the setting and go back to your category management and see the parent is available here, right? So in the parent category, I can now define my parents. Okay. So we'll call it, let's just call it parent one, and I'll add one more parent, calling it parent two, right? So this two will be my parent hierarchy, or the level one hierarchy. Now I'll go back to the lesson category. So we can see that this three pre-created lesson categories are already there: general science, maths, and test based. So I'll add a few more. I'll just add the category A and select an icon for your specific category, right? Something relevant to your name, to the domain name. And I'll add one more called B. All right. So we have added two lesson categories called A and B. Similarly, you can create your asset categories as well. So I'm just going to show you the juggling between parent and child, how you manage that. Okay, so now I am going inside the parent one, right? And I'll show you how you add the child category inside the parent. Okay, so then I'll select this mathematics, general science, and A, these three, and I'll basically push them to the left, right? So now you can see that parent one has three child categories called mathematics, general science, and A. And I'll click on done, right? And so that's how I define and decide the name and the structure of a parent-child hierarchy. You define your categories first, both for the parent, for the child, and then basically you manage the organization, like who belongs with whom. And as the name suggests, basically one parent can have multiple child, but a child can only belong to a certain parent, only one particular parent. Right. So we are done with the distribution, and that's how you basically manage your categories within a particular institution. Okay. Same way, level. I was talking about levels. So these are some of the predefined levels that you are looking at. We have fourth grade, fifth grade, and so on. And you can anytime decide to get rid of a particular grade if that is of no interest to you. And similarly, you can create a new, say grade or level to the platform. So I'll just call it test grade and I'll simply add. And here you can see that the grade is added. And if I again go back to my configuration setting and I enable the lesson grade, it will be activated within my institute. So here you can see the lesson grade is activated. I have added the test grade, and so this drop down menu is appearing. One question might come pretty organically, that even if we have added so many parent child categories, why there are no lessons showing up in the XR this particular institute? The answer is that right now I don't have any lessons within the categories that I have just created or defined. So that is why if your categories are empty, right, that test category or whatsoever, it will never show up in the institute. So ensure that once a category is created, at least one lesson belongs to that category in order to make it available or visible within the library page. All right. Last but not the least, we would have to take a look at the marketplace. So I'll be taking you to a different institute just to demonstrate the function and privileges within a marketplace. All right. So marketplace is a platform. It basically is given to you to your institute default in the beginning of the creation of the institute, and this comes from the license team. So assuming that you already have an institute and you already have a predefined lead admin, and you have an X amount of credit balance that is credited to you from XR license team. So what all you can do with the license, right? So similarly, like creating the roles and groups and adding the users in the first place, one of the key tasks that the lead admin must perform is manage the marketplace credit. So don't let it sit within your institution with yourself as the lead admin, right? Distribute it with your institute members, users, based on the requirement and the purpose of their work. So how do we do that? There are a few tabs that allows you to do different functions. First of all, if I'm a lead admin and let's say I have this $24 now with me and I need additional credits, so as a lead admin I can always request for more credits, and that request is sent to the XR backend team and taken care accordingly. Now what do I do with my institutional requests? Okay, so here I can basically see whether I can filter them through pending or cancelled or approved requests, or I can simply browse through. I can search by a particular username, and I can simply click to accept or reject a particular request. Like here you can see that I have this 3 pending requests, and if I simply reject, it has a notification as well that your request has been successfully rejected. So I have rejected this one. Now the second one I wish to accept, right? I simply click here and the credit request of $10 from Bhavya will be accepted. So it's pretty much a single click functionality when it comes to approving your credit requests. Okay. Under credit report, so here you can basically see a snapshot of all the credit history within your organization, within your institute, right? So you can see how much credit was allocated in the beginning, right? For example, if I look at Shiva Prasad, he has been allocated $250 and he had already used $90 and he has purchased these 3 assets. So I can take a look at the assets that he has purchased, the purchase order, the purchase date, and the total amount that has been spent, and as well the purchase status, whether the asset has been delivered or it's pending or whatsoever may be the status. Right. Now, additionally, looking at the credit history, I can also do 2 other things which are very important for your marketplace management. You can allocate additional credits. So again, coming back to Shiva, if I wish to add, give him some additional credits. So right now he has $90.50 and I wish to give him, let's say, $5. So I just have to simply input my dollar amount, right, and submit. So here you can see my amount, my institutional credit has been reduced, right? And I have now $9. And similarly, if I wish to basically claw back some credit from him, I can do that as well with a single click functionality. So he has $95, then I wish to take back $5. Sorry, just a second. All right, doing that once again. Okay, so for withdrawing some of the credits, we just feed in the amount and submit. There seems to be some glitch here. So we can try it once again later. But yeah, that's pretty much a simple process of adding credit to your institution users, or basically taking back some of the existing credit. And you can do it in two different ways. Either you can straight away come to the credit report and find your person by searching here and do either allocate or clawback, or you can straight away come to this segment for allocating. You can search by the username and then decide whether you wish to add additional credits, or you wish to basically claw back some of the existing amount. All right, so I think we have covered pretty much most of it. Just one last thing I want to highlight here is the use of groups. So users we have covered. Definitely you have to add your users in order to make EON-XR platform available to the members of your organization. Roles, definitely important, because without defining the roles, you cannot restrict who can do what, right? If I don't define the content management and assets management roles, basically everyone will be able to create and delete at the same time. So, or maybe modify, if not delete, they can modify some existing content. So if you don't want that to happen, please select your rights accordingly within the role segment for every specific role that you are creating within your organization. Last but not the least, I would like to talk about the group functionality, right? So when I go to the library and I wish to assign a particular lesson, right? I simply go here in the manage assignment segment, and here I just type a keyword, right? So most of the cases as an organization, we wish to assign a lesson to a group of people, not to a single person. So here the predefined group structure makes your job easy when you know that which group contains whom. These are our in-house structures, right? And you can predefine your group, and just by selecting a single group, you can assign it to 100 and 1,000 of people. And you can as well define their rights, whether if it's a peer, let's say you just have created a lesson and you want to review a lesson through a group of peers, you can give them edit rights. But if it's a group of student or trainees and you just want them to have viewing rights, you define it just giving them viewing rights. So yes, the group structure is very important when it comes to managing your admin portfolio. And that's pretty much, I think, of the presentation of your admin portfolio, right? And now I think we can open for a short Q&A session. And yeah, I can see some questions coming up. Okay, Julie Swift. Okay, Julie, can you please talk? Are you able to talk? Yeah, I have allowed your request. You can talk now. Okay. So we'll go back to the chat window just to take a look at some of the questions if we have any queries. Okay, I have a question from Mohammad Ibrahim Mohammad Hamid. He's asking how we can integrate our lessons in LMS like Moodle. Yes, Moodle being one of the predominant market leaders in LMS, we definitely support Moodle. So your XR lessons can be integrated with your existing Moodle platform. And how we do that, I think we have to park that discussion for a separate round of talk. And you can always reach out to us to support@eonreality.com. I'll as well type the support ID. Okay. So basically, this kind of queries, you feel free to reach us with this kind of queries. But yes, it is definitely possible. Okay. Okay. Kaushik MV is asking, how do I create assets for any original content? So you can create assets in multiple different ways. We have you can use your designing tools, let's say 3ds Max, for creating your 3D assets and import it in your in your XR platform, and then you will be basically able to create lessons using that. And additionally, now EON-XR 9 comes with merged XR technology, wherein you can use any scanning tool, a scanning app, let's say TR Neo or Scaniverse, which is available in iOS, and there are apps available in Android as well. So using those, you can pretty much scan a daily life object and bring that 3D model into EON-XR platform by importing that 3D scan. Tran is asking, can I hide all the lessons from the library tab? Yes, you can. If you unpublish them all, they will all be hidden from the library tab. Wellington Guava, he is asking, once you assign license, you cannot reassigned. I guess you are asking if you are assigned a license for Creator AVR, then the answer will be yes. You can be reassigned. I'm sorry. You cannot be reassigned the same lesson once again. I mean, the same right once again, because it's a binary system. You either have a right or you don't have the right. So if you already have a license, let's say for Creator AVR or for VT or for AR Assist, you either have it or you don't have it. You cannot be reassigned. So we have to withdraw the license and then reassign it back to you if that is the case. Wellington again is asking, can you change the expiry date on license once issued? Yes, definitely. But for that, I guess you have to reach out to the sales team with whom the deal has been made and the expiry date has been decided. Okay, Napicha, you can speak. I have accepted your request. You can please unmute yourself and speak. Hi, Polly. I can see you raising hand. You can please speak. Hello. Yes, Polly, I can hear you.
Oh, hi.
Hi.
So, for the groups, the setting group thing, so I'm quite not. I want to see that again, and I would love to know how many admin that you can assign for each group.
So for groups, you don't really assign admins. Okay.
Okay.
Let me take you back to my screen. Okay, so when it comes to group is, as the name says, it's basically grouping multiple people into one single entity, right? So when I create a new group, let's say I'm creating this dummy group right now. Okay, so what I can do after creating a group, I basically add members. So here I decide whom I want to add, right? So here I can just select multiple people. So I'm randomly adding a few members, right? So I've added these two people.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So next, going forward, when I have a lesson in my library, right, and I want to assign it to that particular group, so I'll pick a lesson and then I'll go for the assignment. And here I would write the name of that particular group, right? So if that was my dummy group, I know that I have only these two people within the group, and when I assign it to them, only both of them will receive the assignment.
Okay.
And I think we during our educator training we have already mentioned that once you have a lesson assignment, it always comes here in your notification window. So only these two guys who are part of my dummy group will receive a notification in their notification bell. Does that answer your
Thank you.
question? Yeah, thank you, Polly. Okay, we still have a good 5 minutes to go. So, any question, please feel free to ask. Or, I mean, if you want to park your question or send it to us later on, please do that as well by sending it to support@eonreality.com. All right. So, looks like we don't have any more queries coming in. So, I guess we can end it here now. Thank you very much once again, all of you, for your time. I mean, I really appreciate it. And lead admin is actually a wide range of functionalities that comes with EON-XR platform. And in case you feel that there are certain gray areas that are those are not clear, feel free to reach out to us, to your respective customer success manager, or to the EON-XR help desk. Either ways, will love to help you with any issues that you have with your EON-XR platform. On that note, thank you once again, and good night, all of you. Thank you. Bye bye.